Hello, welcome to all of you in my presentation. The title of my presentation is Teaching Science in Grade 9 using the PhET simulation. Actually, this is the action research which I have conducted in this project, MATPD project. Myself, Premraj Joshi, a fellow from Nepal. Uh, so let me begin my presentation with with the background and the context of my study. So basically, as from the topic, it is clear that I actually studied about the PhET simulation. So before that, why I choose the PhET simulation for my study, or what are the context which actually motivate me to choose this topic? Basically, after a very long experience of teaching and learning in the field of science, uh, I I think and I observe that in context of Nepal, this lecture-based pedagogy is very dominant, right? So by which there is lack of visualization of the concept because science is one of the very conceptual subject which actually requires a lot of visualizations for the proper understanding of the concepts. But the problem is that in our context, most of the science principles and the laws are, students are root memorize those concepts in abstract form. They just, you know, memorize the concept, and when they write and they write the things in examination on the basis of their memory. uh, so another thing is that which I observed that there are very less number of practical activities, which may be because of the lack of the materials and the instruments. Again, although the ICT is one of the very powerful tool for the science teaching, but in our context, integration of ICT tools is very rare in science teaching, right? So and again, especially in the again in ICT, if we narrow down on the ICT, the simulation based teaching is very and very rare. Although this simulation based teaching is very low resource, right? Because nowadays we have so many free softwares and free tools. For example, PhET, which is completely free. We do not require to pay anything for that, right? So there are so many other tools. So we can say that these tools are very low sources, right? Low cost, we can say. They are very cheap. And but for that, what we require, we basically require the computers, tablets, and basically, and we also need internet facility and electricity. That's all. But if we able to manage the very good ICT facility, we can do. And again, and I also observed that the TPT is not provided to all the teachers, because as there are different type of the teachers in context of Nepal. Basically, private school teachers, government school teachers. Generally, government schools teachers have got the opportunity of the TPT, but private school teachers not have that opportunity, right? So I also realized that because of the lack of the TPD also, the science learning is not so much, meaningful for the students. Another thing is that, and I already said, I will, this study basically explore how simulation can be integrated in the science teaching. Now moving to the next part, if I talk about the research questions, basically, the research questions are from the two angles, right? One from the teacher side, for example, and the question is like, how science teachers improve their pedagogical practices, because as the science teacher are practicing their method like lecture based pedagogy, they have been practicing from a so long time now. after after knowing about PhET simulation, after fusing, after learning about the PhET simulation, now teachers have gained another pedagogical ideas like simulation based technique, right? So this also improve their pedagogical skills. And also another thing is that how this PhET simulation help students, grade 9 students, for meaningful learning, right? Because how because as I also talked with the students, I just try to capture their views, their students students views, why do they how this PhET simulation help them in learning, or what's all the things as per their opinions. So moving to the data collection and the analysis part, basically in the form of samples, I have chosen five teachers which are from five different schools. Out of those five different schools, four are private school and one is government school. And the especially the data collection tools are basically in-depth interview with the teachers, frequent interview, after the completion of the before the cycle, before the beginning of the cycles, after the completion of first cycle, after the completion of second cycle. So the interview was made time to time. Similarly, there was focus group discussion with the students, classroom observation, and field notes which are collected by the researcher by himself. And the method for analysis are basically these interviews were transcribed, the interviews were coded, and themes were generated, and these those themes were discussed with reference to the past research study of that field, right? So these were the methods which I have chosen. So intervention, basically, as we all know, action research, for the action research there must be intervention, right? So so basically I already stated, the teachers incorporated PhET simulation in class in teaching science in grade 9. And this action research consists of the two cycles. Basically, the if we talk about the intervention is like the PhET simulation, right? PhET simulation that they have incorporate in the science teaching. And in the cycle one, before the beginning of the cycle one, there was 4 days TPT workshop for the teachers, in which three were online classes, online session, and one was face to face. And the main agenda of that TPT was basically to provide the basic idea of the action research to the teachers, right? And similarly, to demonstrate, because before this action research, they did not have the idea of the PhET. Even they do not heard about the PhET before. So I explained what is PhET, how it can be used, what are the various activities, what are the various features of the this PhET simulation. Similarly, in that TPT workshop, basically we myself along with the teachers, we have collectively made a lesson plan to teach the chapter current electricity for the grade 9. Basically, in that lesson plan we have incorporated PhET simulation topic wise. In that activity, basically Ohm's law while teaching, for example, the student teacher taught the Ohm's law, firstly by their own method, and then integrate that the PhET simulation activity. Similarly, in teaching the series and parallel combination circuits, and various numericals which are related to the series and parallel combinations are also performed by the PhET simulation. And in the first cycle, students and teachers demonstrated by the projector, and students see what is going on. And yeah, definitely, and some students also get the opportunity to use the computer, and to do the task in the PhET simulation. And also students were encouraged to perform the activities in mobile phone at their home also, because nowadays all the almost many children have that access of the mobile, right? So now moving to the next cycle, cycle two. uh, after completion of the cycle one, we have realized that we not able to provide that much of hands-on experience, because in the first cycle, teacher used the demonstration method using the projector, right, overhead projector. But now we realize that no, let's try to give the hands-on experience to all the students. So in the for the second cycle, we have chosen the chemical reaction chapters of the same grade 9, and where we basically, what we have done, we have divided a group of students in a group of three, and three members, and allocated one PC to each group. And now students are completely independent to do the activities in the PhET by their own, and teacher just act as a facilitator, right? Whenever they stuck, or whenever students need any kind of help, teacher help, otherwise they are doing. Basically, the another feature, basically student enjoy the game feature, like, because in that chemical reaction activities, basically there are games embedded on that. So basically student enjoy that games feature of this PhET simulation. And when the scores come, right, they excited, they motivated to do the more and more exercise and all that. So this is about the second cycle. So teachers engagement, and about the insights from the teacher, right? So basically teachers engagement was very good throughout the action research. Yeah, definitely there were some time related constant, because they also have their duty in certain schools. So sometimes it was challenging to manage the time. And another thing is that teachers were quite motivated towards the action research, because as they are also the teacher, and now they realize that this kind of research are necessary for them, right? And also they also came to know about this simulation based pedagogy, because they did not know about this form of pedagogy before. Now they are very happy, and they are try to engage on this kind of pedagogy, and they also want to continue this PhET simulation in other subjects, in other in other classes also, after the completion of this project also. And they also realized, and according to the teachers, they said that it is really helpful. PhET is really helpful for the meaningful teaching and learning of the this science subject, and they are very happy. So basically findings, what we have, the findings are made on the basis of teachers interview and students focus group discussion, as well as the classroom observations of the implementation. So this PhET actually helps in making the concept visualized, right? Because something is happening, and if that is visualized perfectly on a screen, that becomes very really helpful. And which leads to what, which leads to conceptual understanding of the concepts. Another thing is that students able to learn with the fun, because there is a kind of game activities also, by which they actually enjoy and learn by fun. And there is very good engagement of the students in the learning. Similarly, likewise, the most important thing is that this PhET simulation can be a supplementary of the lab based activity, because in our context, the laboratory materials and infrastructure is very expensive, right? But this is not as expensive as lab based activities, but although it cannot replace the lab based activities, but it can supplement that, right? So, and we can control, we have the control of control over these the digital tools, but not in case of the practical activities, lab based activities. So another thing is that this PhET simulation helps to enhance the interest of students, basically. It came from their their engagement, and they also replied that, student also replied that they have really enjoyed, they have really interested in learning science, and they also said that they want to learn the science by this concept, by this method. So in now in the this in this discussion part, basically we have concluded that this PhET simulation can be a very effective tool, right? This PhET simulation can be a very effective tool for the teaching science. When PhET incorporated in science teaching, it can enhance students engagement, and it can enhance student interest, and the most importantly, students able to learn with the fun. And basically school and science teachers and other stakeholders can use this PhET simulation for the better teaching and learning of this concept. And similarly, this can be a helpful tool to make the science learning very meaningful. And basically there are certain challenges also. Basically ICT infrastructure like computer, internet, electricity can be a challenging thing for the some schools. If the schools able to manage those infrastructures, this can be a very good tool. So teachers have less knowledge of ICT tools generally. you know um, as per my experience throughout the project. So if all the teachers get the ICT based trainings, so that would be a very meaningful. So the TPT is very necessary, because before the beginning of this project, the teachers did not know about the simulation, right? After providing the TPT, they know about the PhET simulation, and they able to incorporate that PhET simulation in their classes. So this implies that a TPT is also a necessary thing, or necessary part for the teacher, for their for their growth, right? So in this way we can say that this PhET simulation, basically this PhET simulation tool can be a powerful tool for the effective teaching and learning. So thank you very much, this much for my presentation.